Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So this evening I've just plotted a 20-mile loop round down to towards Hascane Way, taking in a bit of Canal Path and a couple of other bits and pieces of gravel road. This is the start of the route, so I'll pick up with you in a bit, and I'm going to do a brief rundown of the setup that I'm going to use for the Leeds Liverpool Canal ride, because anyone who kind of wants to do this route, I've done it before, but not on this type of bike, and I think this type of bike is going to be ideal because it does everything pretty much on the flat. So I'll run through with you, cover out the pros and the cons, and then yeah, so we'll see how we get on. So I'll get through this little woodland section here and I'll catch up with you shortly. So yeah, it's quite windy this evening, like one's the forecast, about a 15-mile-an-hour crosswind that way. So it should be a decent tailwind for part of the ride. Thankfully the rain helps quench, so to quash all the midges. Quelch, don't know where I got that from. So there's not as many midges out this evening, which is good news. yeah, just checking if the camera battery still works, because a little section before and the whole thing shut off its power. So I'll try and keep it charged up until we get to the next section. I'll put it back on the chest and I'll show you where else we're going. On the opposite side, the towpath, and right through this bit, it's a little bit overgrown compared to last time I was in here. So there's a public footpath though, so we can ride on it. Oh, loads of nettles. Away. Hate nettles. Ow. Can you get through this bit? Ferns, nettles, brambles. Bloody works, man. It's not been cut back for a reason, I think. Yeah, that's the reason. Obviously don't want people riding down here. It's a public footpath though, so we can understand it. The deepest, darkest depths of Lydiate. and down the stairs. Oops. Right there. That's a pure sketch fest, that. Anyway. Tranquil. Yeah, so I had to come through a bit of a sketchy section there. Lots of weeds, overgrown path. It was almost as if they didn't want people riding their bikes or even walking down there. So, anyway, back on the cut. So, head down here towards Haskane, and then come off at Haskane, head back to Formby. But I'll take a stop before it gets dark, and I'll give you a brief talk through this bike and get an insight into what it's like. I'm also gauging tyre pressures for this ride as well, which I'll tell you about what pressures I'm running currently. So yeah, I'll catch up with you shortly. Spoke too soon on the midgies. Just try and make sure I don't swallow any. Close up halfway through the ride now, so 11 miles covered. About 10 miles to go really. Not too far. Flies. That's very cool. Drag you in. Nice and peaceful here. So let me tell you a little bit about this bike. So it is a surly Wednesday. Steel frame, rigid fork, and it's a 2x10 speed with a SRAM setup. Clark's brakes, nothing fancy there. SKS fatboard, front and rear mudguards, airgun grips, the Wahoo computer. 26-inch DT Swiss rims mounted onto Hope Fat Snow hubs, and the 45 North Van Helga tan wall tyres, which are 26 by 4.2 wide. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be asking me why am I doing the Leeds Liverpool Canal ride on a fat bike. Well, to be honest with you, I just think it's all a bike that you really need. It's got tyres which are wide enough for the towpaths. It'll go over any terrain, provided that you've got the right tyre pressures. Now, I'm tonight running about 15 to 16 psi, which is quite high for a fat bike. You should really be running anywhere around 10 or below. So yeah, I'm going to get a lot of fat bike haters in that respect, but to be fair, mostly I've been riding on hard pack stuff, so it hasn't really been too much of a problem. I would, if you're going to do a Leeds Liverpool Canal ride, I've done it before on a hybrid bike. I'll leave a little brief picture of me and a friend of mine who did it back in 2017, and I had an old 26-inch Specialized hard rock bike which I converted to a hybrid. So I'm hopeful that I've now got a more capable bike with the right brakes, modern geometry. It's a little bit more comfortable to do this sort of route on. I've not done it in a day, so I did it over 3 days last time. Yes, I'm wearing a road helmet, so I'm going to be wearing a road helmet for the ride. I have got a mountain bike helmet as well, but the reason I'm wearing a road helmet is because it's nice and light. If I'm doing 13 hours on a bike, I don't really want a big heavy helmet like I would get with a MTB one, which is what I've got. I'm also wearing a Morvello Stealth Fuse cycling jersey, which I'm going to also wear on the day, and also it's quite tough and waterproof as well, and also very breathable. I'm wearing Dirty Beach shorts, so with padded shorts underneath. So yeah, again, there'll be a lot of mountain bike haters saying, well, you know, you shouldn't wear your cycling shorts, you should wear baggies and all that. And yes, I do agree with that if I'm riding on a trail centre, but I'm not. Not very important, high quality Oakley photochromic sunglasses. So these all adapt depending on what the lighting conditions are, and these are brilliant, really good for your safety. Obviously they block out the sun, stop all the midges getting in your face. So as you'll see, the bike itself, this is all I'm really travelling with. So I've got my backpack on, I'll have electrolytes in my water bottle. The backpack will just have tools, basic tools like Allen keys, and I won't use tyre levers because these tyres are tubeless. By the time I've even noticed that I've got a puncture, it'll probably have sealed itself with the sealant that's inside it. Most importantly, the bell is what you need for canal riding. I've got lights on tonight because I'm riding, it's now nearly 10 to 10, so it's going to be dark by the time I get back. This will have my phone in it, my pocket camera, which I'm hopeful that the battery will repair itself, and in here I'll have a little power bank. I'll try and see if I can also cram in some Haribo Sweeties as well, but I might just get a bar bag to go on the front of that. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, you don't need a gravel bike to do this ride. You need a comfortable, for me anyway, in my opinion, you just need a comfortable bike which is set up for this type of terrain, and I think I've got the perfect bike. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, whether you've done this ride, how you did it. Did you do it in a day? I've got to also make sure that I get the train back at 8:15. That's what time my train leaves, and I hope to get on the towpath for around 6:30 in the morning. So that gives me 12 hours of riding to get it in, which, you know, if I do 10 miles an hour, should be fine. I'm going to be aiming for between 11 and 12 miles an hour, if not more. So yeah, we'll just have to, fingers crossed, we make the train. I've got to account for brakes, I've got to account for any mechanicals. So yeah, I'll try and see if I can record the rest of this ride, and I'll catch up with you later. So yeah, people who don't necessarily know me very well, or just see the bike, and they keep wondering, well, why are you doing a Leeds Liverpool Canal ride in a day on a fat bike? You're doing it for charity. I'm like, well, no, because I feel like this is something that I would do anyway, and I don't really want to disrespect the charity by getting people to raise money for something which I would do anyway. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm not doing it for charity. I'm doing it for fun. I've done road events, a lot of road events over the last 4 or 5 years. Some of them have been 100-mile plus, lots and lots of elevation gain. But in the last 12 months, I've just been kind of a bit disillusioned with road cycling in general. The sort of attitudes towards certain things that I don't necessarily agree with. You know, the tendency to push yourself to go fast as you can. You know, an average a certain speed, and the reality is, it doesn't really matter. No. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing this ride, just to prove it to myself, but also more for this bike, to give it a sort of a decent run out on a nice route and can say I've done something, because I don't know of any other fat bikes who've done this. So yeah, so what we'll do, we'll get over this bridge and get cracking towards home, eh? See you in a bit. So yeah, on the dreaded moss the local cyclists hate, Moss Lane. Absolutely awful road surface. I'm just going to escape from the wind a little bit, go down this way to the left here. Should be a bit more sheltered. So far 16.4 miles at 12.3 miles an hour. Fairly happy with that for a big bike like this. Big heavy bike as well, it's about 15 kilos. Oh, it's very sketchy in here.